Hey everybody, welcome back to LettermenRow.com, Birminology. I am Jeremy Birmingham, and for a very special commitment edition of Birminology, and also a first for the show, we have a player on the show for 2 consecutive episodes. So welcome back, Zen Michalski. I know how to say it, Zen, but I just keep saying it wrong for some reason. I know it's Michalski. Here you are. You're now Ohio State commitment, Zen Michalski. How does that feel?
Feels amazing to be a Buckeye. I can't. A lot of my family's from Ohio, so it's really cool to like kind of be a part of that finally. Because I never really lived in Ohio, but like probably like half my family lives there right now. So it's really cool that like when I first got that offer, everyone freaked out because it's like Ohio State, and yeah, it's awesome. It feels awesome.
I know we talked about this a little bit a week ago when I was in Floyd Snob's for your game, but I mean, is this a feeling of just absolute surrealness? I mean, because you were 2 months ago a player that was committed to Louisville, but there was not a lot of publicity around your name, which I'm sure you don't really care that much about. You have a free college in your future. But here you are now committed to one of the 2 or 3, depending on who you ask, biggest programs in the history of college football. I mean, how do you explain that jump to yourself? I mean, if you could pinch yourself, like, where did this all change for you?
I guess that I have to say at the beginning of this season, because a lot of people last year is when I first got noticed by colleges. So I was still very small, and I had gained a lot of weight over the off season. So a lot of people, I think, wanted to see what I looked like and played at my new weight and size, and if I could still move. And Coach Stud and everyone from Ohio State said they had been, looking at me and recruiting me before, but they weren't sure how my body was going to develop and how I would play with, like I said, with that weight. And as soon as this season started, my first game is when stuff started getting pretty big. Is when I put out my first highlights from week 1, and then that's when they started recruiting me really hard throughout week 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I think that was a big part of it for sure.
Now, for those people out there who know your story a little bit, they know that you had been to one college visit, and that was at Indiana State. Last Sunday, you and your family, you and your dad went to Columbus and checked out the city of Columbus, walked around campus, et cetera, at Ohio State. How did that trip help cement this decision for you? Because when we had spoken, 2 weeks ago, roughly, you told me that you thought this is how this was going to go, but you still had questions that you needed to answer. How did that visit to campus answer those questions, even though you weren't able to be there and talking to the coaching staff?
It more like I wanted to get on campus to see kind of the feeling and the vibe of being on campus, and after that, I was sold. As soon as we left, I was like, "Dad, we're going here. Like this is home." As soon as we got in the car to leave, and it was a mutual thing. Everyone in my family thought so too. They absolutely loved it. Just being able to see campus and the city and how nice everything is. It's crazy. I don't know how I could have said no to it.
Can you walk me through that? So I know that you're not allowed to talk to the coaches when you're on campus, but I guess at some point there's a invisible line in Columbus where you're like, okay, now I'm past this point. I can call them. How did the call go with Ryan Day, with Greg Studrara, where you announced to them what your intention was?
Oh, I called Coach Day first, and Coach Day was like, "Hey, how'd your visit go? I hope your family's doing well," and just asked me how the whole day went. We talked for a little while, and I was like, "Yeah, after this visit, I think I'm ready to commit." And he, freaked out on the phone, which was awesome because it made me feel like he was like legitimately extremely excited that I'm committing, and he was screaming over the phone. And then I called Coach Stud, and Coach Stud freaked out. And it was really great ride home, being able to talk to them about it and join the family right there. Now I wanted to announce it like as soon as I did it, but like I said, we had to wait for the live stream and all that stuff to happen.
Was there any sort of reluctance? So you're on your way home from Columbus on Sunday night. Penn State offers, okay, when you're in the car ride on the way home. Other schools, I've heard rumors Notre Dame is starting to sniff around. Was there any moment where you're like, hey, maybe I should really take a step back and reassess everything? Or was it simply a matter of the fact that Ohio State is Ohio State, and you can't say no to that.
It's no, I never thought about that. I never thought about looking at other schools just because a big thing for me when I had done Louisville, I wanted to be close to home, and after kind of the recruiting process going through and kind of realizing, well, I do have family in Ohio, and it's like I'm going to be close to home still. It was kind of just like the best mix of both worlds of like football, education, and then or all three, and then I have family close, and it was kind of just like a no brainer because like who wouldn't want to go play for them, and it had everything I ever wanted out of a school.
How would you describe Zen Michalski as a player? Like if you were trying to tell a fan of Ohio State football, what are the Buckeyes getting in you?
I think a very athletic big man. I'm very new to the position still, so Coach Shutt has talked to me a lot how he's really excited to get to work because he said I don't have a lot of bad habits yet because I've only been playing for a year. So I'm excited to learn, and I'm very coachable, I feel like. And I'd be happy to play anywhere on the offensive line at guard or tackle or probably not center. I don't know how to snap, but I'd be happy to play anywhere they need me to play.
One of the things that I've heard that the Ohio State side really liked about you is that position flexibility. They like offensive linemen that are able to play anywhere. I have specifically been told by some people that they think you could play center if it came down to it. I don't think that that's in the plan, just to be clear, but it seems like, at your body, do you think you're still growing? Or, I mean, when I saw you last week, I would say you're 6'5", 285, right? 280. Like where do you want to go? How much bigger do you think you're going to get?
Well, when we measured in at practice, or we do it every year before in the summer, and they had measured me in without shoes at 6'6" and a little bit over 6'6". So I think that I'm probably maybe done growing, but I'm not sure because I wasn't. I thought I was done growing at like 6'3" or 6'4". But here we are now. But I definitely feel like I could put on a lot more weight. I still feel like I don't want to say like thin or I don't know what the word is, but like I still feel like I'm not as filled out as I could be. And I feel like I have a lot more weight to put on.
Yeah, I mean, you told me last week you've barely done any weight training to this point. Your body is still sort of probably in shock after gaining 60 pounds in a year. But, so there's obviously going to be some changes that get made there. As you have assessed yourself on tape this season, Zen, like what are you seeing that you're like, okay, now I can pivot into this? Or is there feedback that you've gotten from Greg Studwara or Kennedy Cook, the assistant offensive line coach at Ohio State, that you've already started to implement in your game?
Yeah, I've been working a lot on my just stability with footwork. So like when I come out of a stance, a lot of people at in high school at least, like guys that don't want to really hit you off the line because I mean I understand why they wouldn't want to hit me, but like when I step to them, they're jumping out of the way or just like trying to slant away from me any way possible. So they're helping me get more stable when I step to kind of redirect and pick him up still because kids are trying to just like I said jump out of the way, but. But there's a lot of stuff I want to work on, and I feel like with the new weight, it is a lot easier to be more stable with my steps.
How was the response? I know that when we talked last week, there was discussion about you and talking with Travion Henderson and with Ben Chrisman and these guys around the class. But don't worry, it happens. Family happens. You're there talking to Ben and Travion and these other guys. When did you tell them you were committing to Ohio State, and how did they respond?
I told them the same night, and they were super happy, excited. We were all celebrating. I got put in the commit group chat, and everyone was extremely cool with me and just accepted me really quick. And we all talked for about like an hour and a half after that in the group chat. It was really cool. They're all great guys. I can't wait to get to know them more.
So now the next thing for the Ohio State commitments, which you are now a part of, officially in the chat. What do you see yourself heading to Columbus for the October 24th weekend for the Buckeyes bash at Jack Sawyer's house? And, how important do you think that kind of weekend is for the class moving forward?
Oh, yeah, super important because it's a good way to meet and build that relationship with everybody there. And I'm super excited to meet everyone in person and just get to hang out for a day or two and just, be kids, bond, and start the relationship early.
Zen, so let's talk about what you've done in the last year other than gain 60 pounds. What do you do for fun? Tell us a little bit more about who you are off the field. What motivates you? What makes you tick?
Well, if I'm not doing football, I'm kind of preparing for football. So just like figuring out food or diets and stuff to gain my weight and do a lot of lifting. And just, I like to work on a lot of speed and power stuff with my dad and with my my strength coach at the high school. He helps me with a ton of drills, but I also love my video games. I'm an Xbox guy, so I play that all the time.
What game?
On free time. For Modern Warfare, Warzone. And I'm trying to get the new Xbox when it comes out for the new Cold War game. It looks awesome, but yeah, I'm kind of a video game nerd. I'm not gonna lie.
What is the music that you have on in the headphones when you're getting pumped up for a game?
It's weird because I'm not like a super hardcore like heavy metal like stuff like that to get hype. I kind of like just a little bit of rap or just something that's like chill and it kind of gets me in my zone and ready to go. And a lot of the time it's weird because sometimes I feel like before a game I almost like don't want to be in my zone before the game just because it almost feels like I'm trying to get myself too hyped or I'm like overthinking it before the game even happens. So I like going into the game with a level head, go out there and then after the first snap I'm usually good to go and then just
Right. You have to be zen. You can't be hyped up. I mean that is a old person joke that is going to kill on the internet. So what do you do now? How do you turn this attention away? Because now that you're committed to Ohio State, there's going to probably be other schools that come in here and try to reach out. The Alabamas of the world, the Michigans, the Notre Dames. Is it hard to shut it all down again so quickly, or are you just happy that this is the opportunity? And in 2 months from now, I mean, that's where we're at. We're talking 3 months for you as an early enrollee, 3 months to be on campus. I mean, are you ready for that life transition?
I'm definitely excited for it, but shutting it all down is not too hard for me. I know exactly where I want to go, and that's why I'm committed. And yeah, I've already said no to around 4. I did decommit on Monday, and like you said, I've already had like Michigan, Florida, and Notre Dame, and try to reach out, but those just aren't schools that interest me because Ohio State has everything that I'd want in a school, so I'm definitely in the right spot. I have no problem shutting it down.
Last thing, and I'll let you get out of here so you can go celebrate with your family and stuff, but what does it just mean to you to know that this is your future now? I mean, you're going from a guy in Floyd's Knobs, Indiana, and we talked to you, probably the first real, there's a kicker who went D1 last year, but you might be the first like Division I player out of your high school in decades. I mean, what is your responsibility now? What type of role do you feel like you now have to fit for the players that come after you?
I feel like I'm just kind of showing that a lot of our players, I remember we had kids in our class that left our school because they wanted to go get recruited. So they went to I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but like Trinity over in Kentucky. They're a big school. They pump out D1 kids all the time. So a lot of kids will leave our school because they don't think we don't get recruited very hard. But I hope that I've kind of showed the younger kids in our classes that, it's possible. You just have to come and work for it. And you don't really need to leave. Our school is totally fine. Just want to show people that it's possible in our area.
Well, look, congratulations on the decision, Zen Michalski. He is now committed to Ohio State. The Buckeyes have their 20th commit in the class of 2021. That's Zen Michalski. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.